South Africa's 20 years of democracy is a benchmark for measuring the rights of LGBTI persons to enjoy the rights entrenched in our Constitution. The International Day Against Homophobia and Transphobia calls on the world to focus on LGBTI rights and our right to freedom of expression. We experience various forms of violations that hinder our rights. We are constantly confronted with violence, poverty, and hate speech.
We have a constitution that is very clear about sexual orientation in our Bill of Rights, and therefore you cannot be selective about which rights you protect and promote in South Africa. Every citizen has a right to be, including the LGBTI community. The message is very clear. LGBTI rights are equal before the Constitution, and they are protected in the Constitution. That is what the Constitution says. And therefore, anyone who violates, discriminates, we've got enough legislation. Anyone who violates, discriminates, and even impinges on the rights of others has to be taken into consideration in terms of the law. Simple.
In February 2014, 7 lesbian learners from Pumulong Secondary School in Tembisa attempted to express their sexuality by wearing trousers to school, but they were specifically harassed. Angry parents and LGBTI activists joined in solidarity outside that school. The pupils reported then to the Daily Sun newspaper that the deputy principal told them that their behavior was satanic and she did not want lesbians in her school.
Mina lo ngifuna ngakhona ama-feelings wami kuba ngathi ba-discriminate ngoba bona abafuna ukuthi sigcoke amabhruku bathi sigcoke igate, and igate angeke sifike comfortable mase sigcokile. Inkinga yithi ama-lesbian nakhona sifaka amabhruku la esikolweni, and amantombazana kumele afake igate. Akhona mara yena ukhethe thina esi-6 nama-gay agcoke igate akhona mara yena ulande thina. Mina into engifuna enzakala ukuthi asiyeke sigcoka amabhruku ngoba nathi sina ama-right ukuthi sigcoke amabhruku. Sichubeke sifunde. Umama uthe angithi ngiphe parents letter athi uzoya Monday, athi mela sign. Umama bengafuni ukusayina ukuthi uzongithengela iskate, amsayinisa ngeforced. Athi mela sithenge iskate otherwise uyongicosha la esikolweni.
Some homophobic religious leaders continue to advocate that homosexuality is a Western import. However, there are others who believe otherwise and advocate for human rights.
Akusinto entsha. Ukube kwakuyinto entsha ngiyacabanga ukuthi babengeke babe nalo igama lesizulu. Ngikhuluma kahle manje. Igama lama lesbian nama-gay akusigama elifikayo namhlanje eAfrika. Angithi asiqalanga ukuzwa ngawo namhlanje ngoba sokukhona idemocracy eSouth Africa. Angithi igama labakhona kusukela dala, so into bekade ikhona kusukela dala. Kahle kahle ayikho eAfrika kuphela, ikhona umhlaba wonke.
Traditional healers or sangomas are also confronted with clients that identify themselves other than heterosexual. Gogo Nkomo, a well-established healer, shares the experience of her organization.
Uma umuntu eza kuqala mhlambe njengokuthi akeze ebusuku aletha amadlozi wakhe or bamletha bakubo, mhlambe yeza uzohlola or kanjani or mhlambe ukuthandile, uzombona na ukuthi hayi lona uhlukile akafani nabanye. Kodwa thina kule organization engihambayo asikhethe bala lokuthi inkonkoni or asenkonkoni kungalendlela le umuntu angakhona yena ngelendlela bizwe ngakhona umuntu. Angeke sisithi ayi inkonkona sisifunda lana phumani lenhlangano yabantu ababomama nabo baba kuphela, cha.
Increasingly, there are more and more younger traditional healers emerging. Deli Wekwabe is a 25-year-old traditional healer who has been practicing for 4 years. Deliwe has had her own struggles with her sexuality and is open about sharing her personal challenges.
I discovered, ngaqala ukunothisa ukuthi I have feelings for other women. Being high school, I was doing grade 10. I used to have a crush on my teacher, with business economics. So, at the same time, it was a feeling because I felt ukuthi my friends or anybody ongaziyo agang understand. Me dating women, it has always been a secret up until you decide it has to be known. Throughout my high school years, you know, abafuna boyfriend yakho and all that. So I used to have this gay friend. He always pretended to be my boyfriend, but then yena umuntu bekadazi ukuthi kwenzakalani. Ngachubeka ngazwana nabafana ngapha namantombazana, so nje bekuyileyo nto leyo ukuze ngibe comfortable with my sexuality, ubonisa ukuthi okay, this is something engiyiyo, I cannot run away from. Iqale ukubonakala ngisephehlweni, because lapho most yezangoma there's lesbian abayizangoma, there's gay guys abayizangoma, and seeing them being comfortable with themselves, ngafila ukuthi akusasizi ukuthi nami ngizifihle. And then kwafika lelo langa leli liyi-1 bengisesephehlweni acocela ke ugogo mzakhe bengithwasa naye nje ukuthi there's this girl engine-crush kuyo. Wathi kimi ngi-understandise ukuthi une-crush kanjani kwenye intombazana. Wathi mhlawumbe ama-feelings nje azondlula. Ngathi no, this is something that has always been a part of my life. Ngisaba i-rejection from abazali bami, ngisaba i-rejection from ifamily yami. Anybody engicabanga ukuthi close nami mangizomtshela ukuthi mina ngiyi-lesbian bese uba nenkinga.
Don't you know you're doing me?
Since 1994, over 40 murder cases of LGBTI persons have been documented in South Africa. The exact number of women and men that have been raped and even murdered due to their sexual orientation and gender identity remains unknown. Civil society has strongly advocated for the state to take responsibility by establishing protection mechanisms. In May 2014, the South African government finally launched the National Response Team. This team is tasked with investigating hate crimes perpetrated against LGBTI people. They are also tasked with ensuring that perpetrators are arrested and prosecuted for these crimes.
LGBTI-related violence should be understood and responded to within this broader context of rampant violence against women and the concomitant normalization of rape. Research places South Africa among the countries with the highest reported rates of rape and other forms of sexual violence. And considering the severely underreported nature of sexual assault, these figures are likely to present only a portion of the cases. The underlying causes of gender-based violence broadly and violence against LGBTI persons more specifically are the same, in that both occur in a social system that prescribes heterosexuality as the only acceptable form of sexuality.
We wish to inform this august audience today that a rapid response team was established comprising the Department of Justice, the National Prosecuting Authority, the South African Police Services, and representatives from civil society organizations. The purpose of this rapid response team is to urgently attend to the pending and reported cases in the criminal justice system where hate crimes have been committed against LGBTI persons.
Despite our immense challenges, South Africa's law protects our rights as LGBTI persons. On this International Day Against Homophobia and Transphobia, we stand in solidarity with many LGBTI people around the world who suffer the oppression of their countries. To them we say, together we rise.
I rise because I'm not free.
To break the silence.
To fight injustice.
I rise
against homophobia.
Against transphobia.
To be seen.
And together we rise to undo homophobia and transphobia.
The world is a dark, dark place for people like you and me. But you are wrong.